Hello everyone and welcome to another Irish tutorial. So these are 4 tunes to form a set of reels, and they are taken from my book O'Neill's Tunes for Clawhammer Banjo, which is available exclusively on Amazon if you want to buy the book. But this is a video tutorial available only to my much valued patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me in my crazy banjo life. This is for you. This is hopefully talk you through how to play these tunes. So these are four absolutely classic tunes. The first one is called The Old Bush, so that's the one we're going to start with, which is one, as I say, one of my favourite tunes in the whole world, and I really hope you enjoyed my rendition of the four tunes just before this tutorial. So these are reels, so just to a reminder, or possibly, if you're not in the know already about what a reel is, it's a dance tune mainly originating from Ireland and Scotland, and it's in 4/4 time. So what that means is we've got 4 beats in the bar: 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 crotchets or quarter notes, and that means we've got 8 eighth notes: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's 8 notes in the bar. And the way that we work this in clawhammer terms is that on the beat, so on a 1, 2, 3 or 4, we generally play a downstroke using our playing nail. And then if we play any notes on an and, we're going to use either our thumb or a left-hand slur, which like a hammer or a pull-off or a slide. And we're just going to constantly sort of alternate between that every quaver that we have. I should point out at this point that these tunes in my book are very much aimed at sort of intermediate to advanced players. So if you're a beginner, this might be a bit too tough, but feel free to watch and see what you think. But just a sort of pre-warning that it is definitely sort of more towards the advanced end of things. So without further ado, let's start with The Old Bush. So we're going to start with the first bar, which is like the main anchor phrase of the tune. Often these tunes work on a basis of we have a key bar that keeps coming back with a variety of different responses, almost like a call and response. So this is the first call. First bar is like that. So I'm going to break that down for you now. So what we're going to do is essentially put a D7 chord on, if you've seen that. So it's first fret, second string, second fret, third string. And what you're going to do, first beat, we're going to play the 4th string and the 3rd string. So that's a D and an A. And we're just going to play those 2 notes together. Oh, sorry. And that is the first beat, and that's a crotchet or a quarter note. So that means that lasts for 1 whole beat. 1 and. So if we had a note on that and, we'd be playing it with our thumb, but there's no note to worry about. So 1 and I would just move your arm up on the and to get ready to do your next downstroke, because if you stay down there, you've got to go up to go down again. So that's how I'd start. And then you're going to lift your second finger off to play a G, and then you're going to hammer your finger back on to play an A. And keep your first finger on if you can. So 1 and 2 and. Then the next thing, this is why I recommend having that finger ready, is we're going to play the second string with your first finger on, so that's a C, and then you're going to drop thumb the 3rd string for your A. Like that. And with drop thumbing, don't know, you might be very familiar with it, or it might be quite new to you. What I always recommend is when you do a drop thumb, the note before the drop thumb, if you land your thumb on the string that you're going to play with your thumb, it's a lot easier than just to flick it with your thumb, rather than having to sort of fish for the note. If you land your thumb on the string on the note before, it makes it a lot smoother. And some of these reels are designed to be played, reasonably fast, so it's useful to make it as easy for yourself as you can. And then on beat 4, we've got a triplet. So that means we've got 3 notes crammed into the space of 2 notes. And these are very common in Irish music. An ongoing thread, for those of you who've watched my tutorials, is they use a lot of same note triplets, which are basically where you've got 3 of the same note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like that. That's really hard to do in clawhammer style. So what I did in my arrangement was cheat ever so slightly. And instead I'm playing A-G-A rather than just 3 A's. So what I do is I play my A, which is the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, pull off for a G, and then quickly put my finger back on. In fact, I sometimes just hammer it back on. Like that. And if you're playing at a reasonable speed, I don't think you can tell it's not the same note. I think it's quite convincing. If you can, though, if you want to be a better player than me, then what I would do is the best technique I've come across is Ken Perlman's technique, which is to play a downstroke, pick back up through the string with your nail, and then back down again. My trouble is I can't do that at speed very well. I could do it sometimes, but not every time. So whichever way you want to do that, you can decide. But basically, you can do my cheating way or Ken's proper way, basically. So the first bar, that's your first bar. So that's going to keep coming back. So really make sure you got that one down before you move on. Second bar is your first answer to that phrase, and it goes like this. Sorry. Like that. Sorry, it took me 3 attempts to play that right. So we're going to play a D and then a C sharp. So you're going to play your first string, just open, and then drop them the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. Like that. And then you're going to play D again, which is your first string, and hammer on the 2nd fret for an E. So we get like that. And then this next bit we're going to do, basically the melody notes are F sharp, D, E, D. So the easiest way to do that is 2 pull-offs. So F sharp is your 4th fret, and you're going to pull off to an open string, and then you're going to do the same thing from the 2nd fret. That's the second bar. But to add a little further twist, another very common feature of Irish music is what's called ornamentation, or the classical term would be grace notes. So what that means is you don't just play a note straight, but you add a little sort of extra note that is very, very short. It doesn't have a note value of its own. It just makes it sound slightly fancier, for want of a better expression. So what we're going to do here is play, when you play the first 4 notes as I described before, but when I get to this F sharp, instead of just playing an F sharp, I hammer on my finger from the 2nd fret just as I play the string. So I get this sound instead of just. So it just sounds a little bit more stylish and very sort of authentically more Irish, I suppose. It's quite tricky to get the hang of that, but it becomes very natural after a while. The main thing to remember in clawhammer, a grace note, the way to do it is it's a slur, like a hammer, pull off or slide. It's a slur that you execute as soon as you hit the string for your note. So rather than having your left hand ready like you normally do and then play the string, it's almost like the other way around. So you just fret the note a fraction later than you play the string. Like that. So that's bar 2. Bar 3 is the same as bar 1. Like that. And then we get to bar 4, which is. And you probably heard there's another grace note to look forward to there. So we start off with a D, which is your first string. You're going to hammer on the 4th fret. And you're then going to play an E, which is your 2nd fret. And this is a grace pull-off. So this time what I do is I leave my little finger on fret 4 right up until I play this note. But I get my 2nd finger ready on the E. And pull off just as I hit the string. Like that, and then I pull off again for my next note, which is a D. Like that. Next thing I do is I put a D7 chord on and I play 2nd string, 3rd string, 1st string, 2nd string. So 2, 3, 1, 2. And remember that we're alternating between finger and thumb. So finger, thumb, finger, thumb. Next thing, we have bar 5, which is the same as bar 1. Like that. And then we get the same first 4 notes as we had in bar 2. And I'm going to do these with my first finger, which if you've got the book, it's indicated by the 2nd fret Roman numeral, because that means you play the 2nd fret with your first finger, if you see that sign. And then for the next 4 notes, I'm going to slide my finger up to fret 4. Again, it's a grace note, so I'm going to do it as I hit the string. And then drop thumb in E, which is your 5th fret of the 2nd string. And then finally, to finish that bar, I'm going to play the 1st string, still with these 2 fingers on, and then the 5th string. So that's where we're up to so far. So now we've just got 2 bars of the A part left. The next one starts with a triplet. So we're going to play, there are 2 ways you can play this. The way I've written it in the book is it's A, G, F sharp. So the way I've written it in the book is you play 7th fret 1st string for your A, 5th string for your G, and then F sharp as your 4th fret on the 1st string. So I've written it as, because it's a triplet, 1 under. So you can do it that way. Sometimes, to be honest, I actually do it as a double pull-off. So I just put all 3 fingers down, 1st finger on 4, 2nd finger on 5, little finger on 7, and just sort of peel them off like that. So whichever way you prefer, doesn't make too much difference, to be honest. And then once you've done that triplet, the easiest thing to do is put on your 2nd and 3rd fingers on the 5th fret on the 2nd and 1st strings, if you see what I mean. So 2nd finger here on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, 3rd finger here on the 5th fret of the 1st string, and you're just going to drop them. That's what we've got so far. And then what I do here is put my 1st finger on fret 4, and we're going to do another grace note. So we're going to pull off from the 5 to the 4 as I hit the string, then pull off to an open string, and this buys us the time, if you like, to move my finger back down to my next pair of notes, which are an E and a C sharp, which I just half bar the 2nd fret and play 1st string followed by 2nd string. So that's quite a tricky bar, that one. So you might have to sort of practice that a few times. I certainly did when I first wrote it. And then to finish off, finally, we've got... So that's similar to what we had before. I'm just looking at the tab. Yeah, if you think back to bar 4, it's exactly the same as bar 4. And that takes you to the end of the A part. You repeat the A part, but instead of doing that last bar, the second time you play the A part, it's quite common this in folk tunes, you get a different ending each time. So you play the A part all the way through, go back to the beginning of the A part. The first 7 bars are exactly the same. Oh, sorry. And then this second time we do this instead. So it's almost the same as the first ending, but the last beat is different. So we've got... And then the last beat is that same triplet we had before. A, G, A, or 202 on the 3rd string. So that's the end of the A's. So let's go on to the B's. So the B part, we're going to basically do a 3/4 bar. That's what I do throughout the B part. So what's easiest is if you put your 1st finger over fret 5, just the first 3 strings, so strings 3, 2 and 1. And for me that makes this a lot easier. So we're going to play the 2nd string, which is an E with that bar on, and then the 5th string for your G. And then we're going to do a G triplet, and for once I am actually going to do an actual same note triplet because I find it reasonably easy to do on this tune, and that's achieved by going 1st string, 5th string, 1st string. 1 and 2 and like that. And then still with the bar on, I go E to D. So we're going to play the 2nd string, and if you add your 3rd finger onto fret 7 on the 3rd string. And then 5th fret to 7th fret hammer on that same string. On the 3rd string, sorry. Which is a C and then a D. that's that full bar. Okay, and then the second bar we're going to play an E and then a G. So still with this bar on, we're going to play second string, fifth string, and then a G and then an E. So that's first string, then second string. And then third string for a C. So that's a crotchet, that note. So that's going to last for a whole beat. And then you're going to hammer on, still with this bar on, you're going to hammer on to the 7th fret on the 3rd string. So far this is what we have. So as you can see, I'm not having to move my left hand very much. You just have to remember to hit the right strings in the right order. Then the 3rd bar of the B part starts exactly the same. So we've got the first pair of quavers and then the triplets. And then we've got 2 quarter notes or crotchets, A, then G. So what I do here, I finally can release this bar from here, and I'm going to play the 7th fret, which is an A, and then the 5th fret, which is a G. And then the 4th bar of the B part, we played in the A part. So it's the same as the very last bar of the second A. So we've heard that already. Then, next up is the 5th bar of the B part, which is the same as the 3rd bar of the B part. So it's that one again. And then we've got a new bar this time. What I do here is I nudge my first finger back 1 fret to F sharp, which is the 4th fret of your 1st string. And I'm going to play F sharp, pull off to D, and then use my 2nd finger on an E, which is the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and my ring finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string, which is a C sharp. So that's what we've got so far. Next up, we've got a D and then an E. So the easiest thing is actually if you just leave your fingers where they are, or certainly your 2nd finger where it is, and you're going to play the 1st string, which is your D, so that's just open, and then drop thumb an E, which is where your 2nd finger is on the 2nd string. And just be careful when you do that, not to allow this finger to flatten and deaden the 1st string. You need to make sure it's sufficiently bent so that both notes ring true. Then F sharp followed by G. So if you add your little finger onto the 7th fret of the 2nd string and play your 5th string, like that. And then the ending 2 bars we've already had in the A part. So that's your first ending of the B part. Then you're going to go round the whole B part again, and your 2nd ending is... And that takes you either back to the start of the Old Bush or onto the 2nd tune, which is the Humours of Ballinacurrig. So basically, yes, if you're about to go to the A part of the tune, you'll end like this. Because it sets you up for... If you're about to go to the B part, you end like this. And then when you've ended the whole of the Old Bush, we're going to go on to the Humours of Ballinacurrig. So the Humours of Ballinacurrig, great tune in E minor this time. So we're going to start off with a B and then an E. So you're going to play your 2nd string, which is the B, and then drop thumb the 2nd fret of the 4th string, which is an E. Like that. Then we've got one of these same note, not quite the same triplets. But it's a weird one, this. So I've stayed faithful to the ornamentation in the original O'Neill's collection, which isn't that easy on clawhammer banjo, but we'll see how we go. So the 3 main notes of the triplet are E, D, E. So that's E, which is the note you've just played, D, which is that string open, and then obviously E, you return to the fret. But to make this even harder, we've got a grace note before the first note, which is an F sharp. So what I try and do, and don't always succeed if I'm totally honest with you, is so what I've done there is quickly add my little finger to F sharp and pull off as I hit the string. Pull off entirely, sorry, and then put the finger back on. And I hammer on that last note. Hope that makes sense. It's quite hard to do. To be honest, quite often I just end up going. But if you can do this, it does sound really nice. Then beat 3 is a D, which is your first string. And then you're going to play a C and a B, which is a pull off 1 to 0 on the second string. So the first bar, like that. Then second bar, we've got this. So that is A, which is second fret of the third string. You're going to drop thumb the fourth string, open. Then you've got a much simpler triplet, 4-2-0 on the fourth string. And I do this by putting a finger on the fourth fret and a finger on the second fret at the same time and just sort of peel them off one by one. Like that. Whoops. Now these next four notes, basically we're going to play an F sharp, which is the fourth fret of the fourth string. And then we've got an A, which is the second fret of the third string. Now, it's a little bit awkward. The easiest way to do it would actually be to just hammer that A. But as you can hear, it sounds a little bit weak, and you end up not hearing the note properly. So what I actually do is just allow my finger to follow through to the next string. And I put both fingers on ready. Like that. So it does mean that your next note, which is the same note as you've just played, is another downstroke. So you've got to sort of be quite quick doing another downstroke there. And then finally hammer on a C, which is the fifth fret of that same string. So that's the whole of the second bar. Like that. Then the third bar is... So we've got B and then E, so same as the first two notes of the whole tune. Then E, then F sharp, so we're going to hammer on 2 to 4 on the fourth string. And then G, A, B, C sharp. So what we do here is very simple, it's 0 to 2 hammer on the third string, and then the second string. Like that. And then we get the first ending before we repeat the A again. It's only a 4-bar part, but we play it twice, but with a different ending each time. So this last bar is... So we've got quite a few grace notes in here. So first of all, the first main melody note is a D, which you just play by playing the first string open. But what I do is do a double grace note where I play the string very quickly, hammer on the second fret and pull off immediately. And you're actually trying to make it sound as much like one note as you can. So it isn't, because you'll run out of time to play all the notes. One and that's the next note there, a C sharp, which is the second fret of the second string. Then you play D, then B, so just take your left hand off. Don't take it off, take it off the fretboard, and then play the first string and the second string. And then you've got a quarter note, which is your E, which you're just going to, again, is a grace note. You're going to hammer on your finger as you hit the string onto the second fret. That's the first string. And then finally finish off with D, then C sharp. So that's D, which is your first string, C sharp, which is the second fret of your second string. Then you go back to the beginning of the A and play the first 3 bars again. And then the second time, this is going to be your ending. So we've got that same twiddly double grace note thing at the beginning. Second string this time just open, so that's a B. Then 2 to 5 hammer on the third string, which is A to C. And then B, which is your second string. Drop thumb the E, which is the fourth string. Sorry, there's a cat in the background, which is why I turn around. And then finally play the fourth string again with that finger still on, which is your E. And that's the A part of the tune. Okay, so let's go on to the B. So the B part of the tune is one 8-bar part. So instead of having a 4-bar part kind of repeated, this time it's just a straight 8-bar part. And we're going to go up to 5th position for this. So a reminder kind of talking about positions. Basically, if I say 5th position, what I mean is in terms of which fingers you use with your left hand. Your first finger is going to play the 5th fret, second finger plays the 6th fret, third finger plays the 7th fret. It's like one finger per fret, basically. Obviously, it's your right hand if you're left-handed. Your fretting hand, whichever one that is. So your first note is an E, which is the 5th fret on the second string. But again, we've got a grace note. So what I'm going to do is pull off from 7 to 5. So I've got both fingers on, first finger there, third finger there. I'm going to do the pull off as I hit the string. And then I'm going to drop thumb a D sharp. I love that note. Which is your 8th fret on the third string. So I do that with your little finger. And then 5 to 7 hammer on the second string, which is an E to an F sharp. And then the final 4 notes of the bar are... So what I did there was, again, I did a grace note, so 7 to 5 on the first string, which is your melody note is a G. Drop thumb an F sharp, which is the 7th fret on the second string. Then just do a half bar on fret 5, and I'm going to play first string G, second string E. So the whole of that bar. No, it isn't. Like that. And then what I do quite a lot in this B part is, sorry, disappearing off camera there. What I do quite often in this B part is I actually, I've got my half bar and I just sort of tilt my finger that way so that the first string becomes open. So that's what I do for this next bar is rather than taking everything off, I tilt my hand that way so that my first string is now open. If that feels really weird, don't worry, just adjust whichever way you want. But basically what you want to end up with is a D and then an E. So the easiest way I think to do that is to play the first string open and drop thumb the 5th fret of the second string. That's what we're going to do for the rest of the bar. So we've just had a D and an E. We're going to play an F sharp, which is the 7th fret of the second string, and a G, which is your 5th string. And then flatten that third finger down and form a half bar on fret 7. So that's your first string followed by your second string. Like that. And then play first string and second string. And again, I'm just sort of tilting my finger because my next 2 notes are D, which is open first string, and then F sharp, which is the 7th fret of the second string. So I'm sort of adjusting my hand like that to get out of my half bars. There, flat, unflat. That's the easiest way I think to do it. So see what you think to that. Then the next bar, we're going to go. So what we're going to do is start with an E, so that's the 5th fret of the second string, grace note at the beginning. So 7 to 5, drop thumb a D, which is the 7th fret of the third string, then hammer on 5 to 7 on the second string, which is E to F sharp. And then for the next 4 notes, if you leave your third finger where it is on fret 7 and just shift your first finger over to fret 5, of the first string. It's always good to leave fingers on if you can. It makes the whole thing sound a bit smoother. And then once you've got your first finger on fret 5 of the first string, you're going to go first string, second string, so that's G, then F sharp, and then just move your fingers across to here. So that's first finger on the 5th fret of the second string, which is an E, and your second finger on the 6th fret of the third string, which is a C sharp. So if you can see, I've got 5 and 7, and then just moving across to there. And then bar 4 is exactly the same as the last bar of the A. So we've already had that. Then we're basically going to play a very similar bar to, what is it? It's bar 3 of the B part. Bar 5 is near enough the same, but instead of that grace note, for some reason in the original collection the grace note is left out here, so I decided to stay faithful to that. So this time we're going to play an E, 5th fret, second string, off string pull off. So that's the first time we've seen that in this set of tunes. So what an off string pull off is, for those who haven't seen this before, is you play a note on one string, which is the 5th fret of the second string, and then you're going to use a spare left hand finger to play the first string. My right hand isn't doing anything. And as with the drop thumb, anticipation helps. So if you get a finger ready on that first string, and then that's nice and easy. Then 5 to 7 hammer. Again, if you leave your third finger where it is, shift your first finger across to fret 5 again and play those two notes. Half bar at fret 5, first string, second string. And then I'm going to do that thing again where I sort of tilt my finger. So in fact, the next bar is exactly the same as bar 2 of this part. So we've already had that. And then our ending goes like this. So what we do here is we've got a G, which is the 5th fret of the first string. And what I'm going to do is very quickly play the note, hammer on, and immediately pull off again. So that's one note. 1, 2, and. So F sharp to D, which is so 4th fret, first string, pull off. And then you've got a triplet, which is E, F sharp, G. And the easiest way to play this, I think, is to put your first finger on fret 2 of the first string, play it, hammer on the third finger on fret 4, and play the 5th string. And then pull off from 4 to 2 on the first string. So have both fingers ready. And then finally, the last bar is exactly the same as the last bar of the A. And that's Humours of Balnacarrig. So we're halfway through the set. Let's go on to the next tune. Right then, tune 3 of 4. This is Jenny Picking Cockles, which is a lovely name for a tune. So this is in D major, as is the last tune, Salamanca Reel. So we're going to start off with one of those alternate string pull-off techniques that we looked at briefly in the Humours of Balnacarrig. So the first bar goes like this. So we've got an A, first of all, which is the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and using a spare left hand finger, I use my middle finger, we're going to pick the first string purely with the left hand. So A, then D. And then using that same finger, I play the D, which is the next melody note, but again I do a little twiddly grace note, so it's very quick hammer on and pull off on the 2nd fret. So again, as much like one note as you can make it sound. And then using my first finger, just to try and make it smoother, I am drop thumbing a C sharp, which is the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. And then we've got A, G, which is 2 to 0 pull off on the 3rd string, and then 2 to 4 hammer on the 4th string. first bar, and then the second bar goes like this. So by far the easiest way to play this second bar is to get this shape on. So if any of you have played much in double C tuning, it's the exact same shape that a G chord would be in that tuning. I know we're not in that tuning, but that's the shape that you put on. So it's 2nd fret 4th string and 2nd fret 2nd string. Sounds quite exotic as a chord, but we're not going to play it as a chord. We're just going to keep those 2 fingers on for the entire bar, and string wise we're going to play 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4. So that's 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4. Like that. G, E, C sharp, E, D, E, C sharp, E. Then bar 3 is exactly the same as bar 1. And then bar 4 actually starts the same as bar 2. So again, get those 2 fingers on. 3, 4, 2, 4. But then this time we've got E to D. So 2nd fret 4th string and pull off. And then we've got F sharp G, which I play by playing 4th fret 4th string and using a spare finger to pick the 3rd string, which is my G. Then bar 5 is the same as bar 1. And then the next bar goes like this. Or a hammer. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a G and then an E. So 3rd string, then 2nd fret 4th string. Then we've got a same note triplets. As I've mentioned before, I often cheat on these. If you can do Ken's technique, then do it. If, like me, you can't, then what I do is play an E, hammer on the 4th fret with my little finger, and pull straight off again. Like that. Which at speed, I think, passes quite well. Or so my defence lawyer says. Then we're going to play a C sharp, which is the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. That's a quarter note this time. And then a C sharp to D hammer, which is fret 2 to fret 3 on the 2nd string. Like that. And then we've got this sort of, the penultimate bar is this. So I've got an E, then a D, so that's 2nd fret of the 1st string, and then pull off. So again, it's a grace note, so you just hammer on the E as you hit the string, pull off to a D. Then you can put that little shape on if you want. So it's just across the 2nd fret, bar at the 2nd fret basically, and you're going to play 2nd string, which is a C sharp, 3rd string, which is an A. Then we're going to, if you get rid of your bar at that point and just return to 1 finger on the A, so that's the note you've just played, and it's 2 to 0 pull off on the 3rd string, which is A to G, and then 2 to 4 hammer on the 4th string, which is E to F sharp. And then for the final bar of the A, if you put that same shape on that you had earlier, the double C G chord shape, and you're going to play 3, 4, 2, 4 again, and then 2 to 4 pull off on the 4th string, which is E to D, and then a triplet D. Same rule applies. If you can do it that way, do it, or play the D, hammer on the 2nd fret and pull off again. So the ending in full. And that's the whole of the A part. You play it twice. Now let's go on to the B. So, B part, we're going to start off with an F sharp, which is a quarter note, so that's just 1 note, and the grace note this time is a slide, so we're basically going to do, it's called a quick slide, some of you might have seen it before, so you're going to slide with your 3rd finger from fret 2 to fret 4 as you hit the string, so it isn't this, it's like 1 note, so that's beat 1, then we're going to do pull off 4 to 0, on the same string, and then fret 2, hammer it on as you hit the string, and then pull off that one. So that bar goes like that. And then bar 2 goes. So the way we play that is I get 2 fingers on my 2nd fret, so the middle 2 strings, so second fret 3rd string and 2nd fret 2nd string. We're going to drop them 2 to 3, so that's C sharp to A, then play 3rd string again and use our spare finger on the left hand, well, not our spare finger, our finger that was there anyway, to play a B. Return that finger for the C sharp, and then hammer on a D on the 3rd fret, and then we're going to play an E and a G, so that's 2nd fret 1st string followed by the 5th string. So that's what we've got so far. Bar 3 is the same as bar 1, and then as soon as you've done that pull off, if you move your hand up to the 5th fret, and what we're going to do is half bar at the 5th fret, so that's strings 1 and 2, and we're going to use our 3rd finger to play an A on the 5th string, 7th fret. So the whole bar sounds like this. So that's E, which is the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Oh, sorry. A, which is the 7th fret of the 5th string. I was about to say it's really easy to fret the 5th string. Apparently not. Then still with our half bar on, we're going to play string 1, followed by string 2. And then the next 2 notes are E, then D. And for some reason, I find it easier, and the way I've written it in my book, is to play 5 to 3 pull off on the 2nd string. But actually, you could just leave your hand where it is and put your 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the 3rd string to play the D. Quite why I find it easier to do that, I really don't know, because to be honest, it would seem much easier to not have to move your hand, but for some reason that's what I do. So whichever way you want to do it is fine. And then we've got a triplet, 3 Ds, which, usual story, you can play them properly like Ken Perlman or cack-handedly like me. Then we've got the first bar of the part again, and then the next bar is, and what we're going to do here is put those 2 fingers on the 2nd fret again, so 2nd string and 3rd string, and you're going to play 2nd string, drop thumb the 3rd string, then play the A again to pull off the 2nd string. So it's the same actually as the start of bar 2. And then we're going to play a C sharp on beat 3. Now this is a dotted crotchet, don't get too many of them in Irish reels, so that means it lasts for a beat and a half. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the last note of the bar is a D, which I'm playing 3rd fret 2nd string, and I'm using my thumb. Like that. And then the ending, last 2 bars are exactly the same as the last 2 bars of the A. And that's the end of the tune. So just one more tune to go. It's going to be a long video, this. So that was the Jenny Picking Cockles, and then final tune, let's go to the Salamanca Reel. So, last tune, this is Salamanca Reel. And this one starts with a little upbeat. So when you get to the end of Jenny Picking Cockles, what you'll do is play, and instead of playing the triplet at the end, you're going to cut straight to this tune, which is D then B. So that's 1st string and then drop thumb your 2nd string, both open. So you play those 2 notes instead of that at the end. So you'll finish Jenny Picking Cockles, and those 2 notes lead you into the Salamanca Reel. So here we go with this one. So the first bar, we've got pair of quavers, but this time we've got a dotted quaver and a semi-quaver. And what this means is that instead of it being 2 notes that are exactly the same length, the first note, when you add a dot to a note, you add 50% of its value on. So it's like, instead of half a beat, it's 3/4 of a beat, and the other one is a quarter of a beat. That all probably sounds terribly intimidating. Basically what it means is you've still got two notes in the same space, but the first one's a bit longer and the second one's a bit shorter. So one and two and a three and four and a. So instead of, we're going to go like that. So you're just going to delay that second note by a little bit, but still start the next bit on time, as it were. So the dotted note is an A, so that's 2nd fret, 3rd string. And you're going to thumb the 4th string, which is your D, and then you're going to go F sharp, E, D, which is on the 4th string, 4, 2, 0. So you're going to pull off, get both fingers on, 3rd finger on 4, 1st finger on 2, and you're just going to play the first note and then peel off like that. And you do all of that twice. So 1 and 2, like that. Then the next bar, we're going to go back to normal non-dotted notes, so just like a normal reel. So be careful this doesn't turn into a hornpipe, which is da 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 da, which is always long then short. It's just the first bar. And then we're back to normal. So what I do for this bit, I get one finger ready on the 1st string. It doesn't matter which fret. That probably sounds weird, but trust me. You're going to get a finger ready on the 1st string, and I use my middle finger and I put it on the 2nd fret. Then we've got 1st finger here on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, which is an A. And the reason I've got this other finger here is because every other note is a D. So we're going to utilise that off string pull off again. So we're going to play 3rd string, pull off the 1st string. Then 2nd fret, 2nd string, pull off the 1st string. So A, D, C sharp, D. And then we're going to do F sharp to D, so that's 4th fret, 1st string with a little slide grace note. Pull off, and then same manoeuvre as before. C sharp on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, off string pull off on the D. And that's what you get there. Bar 3 is basically the same rhythm as the first bar. So same thing, dotted quaver, then short quaver. So we're going to play the 2nd string open, which is a B, drop thumb and E, which is the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then we're going to play G, 3rd string. This is a triplet, so 3rd string, drop thumb and F sharp on the 4th string, 4th fret, and then E, 2nd fret, 4th string. And again, you do it all twice. Like that. Then the next bar goes like this. Slightly awkward, this one, so we're going to play, you're going to use your little finger. Don't be afraid. So you play the 2nd string, which is a B, hammer on the 5th fret with your little finger, then play that note again, and off string pull off the 1st string. Then we're going to play C sharp D, so that's 2nd fret, 2nd string, off string pull off the 1st string, then put that finger back on the 2nd fret of the 1st string and play an E, and play a G on the 5th string. Like that. Next bar is, so that's a quick slide again to the 4th fret of the 1st string, which is an F sharp, pull off to a D, play a D again, 1st string, G on the 5th string, then 4 to 0, pull off on the 1st string, no grace note this time, and then put a bar on the 2nd fret and play a C sharp followed by an A, and then we're going to play a 2nd string, which is a B, off string pull off the 1st string, which is a D, and then we're going to go a 2 to 5 slide on the 2nd string, so that's C sharp up to E. So you really got to dig in to that slide to make it sound loud enough. And then now that you're up here, stay there, and we're going to play a D on the 1st string, drop thumb and F sharp, which is the 7th fret of the 2nd string, so that'll be your 3rd finger in the new position that you're in. And then flatten down that 3rd finger to play a 7th fret 1st string, which is an A, and a 5th string, which is a G, and then finally we get this ending phrase. So that's 4/0 pull off on the 1st string, half bar on 2, 1st string, 2nd string, so that's F sharp, D, E, C sharp, a D, which is your 1st string, but with that twiddle again, so quickly hammer and pull off on the 2nd fret, and drop thumb the 2nd string, A to G, so 2/0 pull off on the 3rd string, so that bar, and then finally, so if you put an F sharp on here, which is the 4th fret of the 4th string, use a spare finger to play the 3rd string, 2 to 4 hammer on the 4th string, which is E to F sharp, and finally a D, which is your open 1st string. Then, this is the end of the first time through the A, so you're going to finish with that little manoeuvre again, so 1st string with the twiddle and the 2nd string drop thumbed. That takes you back to the very start. You're going to play through all of that again, and then this time when you get to the end, you're going to play these 2 notes, which are going to take you into the B part. So those 2 notes were E, which is your 5th fret 2nd string, and then a G, which is your 5th string. And then we can go on to the B part. Right then, final part of the set. So we've just done this, which is going to take us into the 2nd part. So here's the 1st bar of the 2nd part, the B part rather. So the 5th string is very much your friend in this one. It makes it a lot easier to play the melody. So what we do is, we've just played those 2 notes. So what I do is actually just use my 3rd finger to do a half bar on the 7th fret. You can use your 1st finger if you prefer, whichever you prefer, but basically that's what you're doing. So you're playing A and F sharp. So that's 1st string, 2nd string with your half bar on. Then take your fingers off and play D, G, so 1st string, 5th string. Then 9th fret 1st string, which is a B, 5th string, which is a G, E, which is the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and once again the 5th string. So that's the 1st bar of the B part. Then we're going to play this. So that's F sharp to D pull off, 4/0 pull off on the 1st string, half bar on the 2nd fret, 1st string and 2nd string, which is E and C sharp. D with the legendary twiddle on the 1st string, you've got it by now, and drop thumb the C sharp on the 2nd string, 2nd fret. Then 2nd string, which is a B, drop thumb an A on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And then you're going to play this. So I love this bit, but it's quite hard. So we're going to play a B, 2nd string open, alternate string pull off the 1st string, C sharp to E slide on the 2nd string. So that's 2nd fret up to 5th fret. And now that you're here, you're going to put your 3rd finger on fret 7 of the 2nd string, and it's D followed by F sharp. Then E, which is the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and the 5th string, which is a G. So far in the B part, we've got and now we get this. Love that bit. So what I do here is half bar at fret 7. So cover the 1st and 2nd strings with your 1st finger. And I'm going to use basically the Galax lick. So we're going to play the 2nd string, 7th fret. Allow your finger to follow through to the 1st string. Play the 5th string with your thumb. Then play fret 9 on the 1st string, which is your B, with your finger. 1 and 2 and 3. And then play the 1st finger note again. So 7th fret, 1st string. 1 and 2 and 3, leave that on still, and we're going to go 2nd string, 5th string, so F sharp, G. Then the next bar goes like this. So you're actually going to leave that half bar on still, and you're going to play 1st string, 9th fret of the 5th string, which is your B, still with your half bar on, string 1 then string 2, which is A then F sharp, and then finally you can release that half bar, just move down 2 frets, and you're going to play a G, which is the 5th fret of the 1st string, and an F sharp, which is the 7th fret of the 2nd string. So you get both those fingers on and play 1st string and 2nd string, then the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and the 5th string, which is your G. And then we get this. Oh, sorry. So similar shape to the old bush. You're going to play the 4th fret 1st string with your 1st finger, do a pull off, 5 and 6 on the 2nd and 3rd strings respectively, and then you're going to do a hammer on. So you're going to play 1st string open, which is a D, hammer on your 1st finger, then play the 7th fret 1st string with your little finger, and then the 5th string. And then you'll be mightily pleased to hear that the last 2 bars are the same as the last 2 bars of the A. And we're done. So that is a mighty long tune set. So obviously take your time over this. Obviously it's YouTube video, so you can fast forward and rewind till your heart's content. But any further questions, do let me know, because I know they're 4 quite tricky tunes and it's an exhausting workout, but they are lovely tunes as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for being my patrons. And do buy the book if you haven't already. It's on Amazon. But thank you so much for your support, and yeah, I'll wish you happy playing, and I will see you soon. And I hope you enjoyed the more beautiful surroundings. I'm normally in my my office, which doesn't have pretty sunflowers like my girlfriend's aunt's house does. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. See you soon.